Hi, I'm Sari Sudhakaran, and let me show you how Stanley Kubrick uses pure cinema to tell a story. Pure cinema is the technique of using only sound effects, music, and images to make your point. Dialogue doesn't hold much importance here. We're going to analyze the famous Dawn of Man sequence from 2001: A Space Odyssey, the greatest science fiction movie ever made. There's no dialogue at all in this sequence, but you understand everything. By the way, there are spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen the movie already, please do so first. In this sequence, we see the point at which apes begin to use tools. This change is brought along by a strange monolith. The objective of the monolith is to trigger events, specifically an evolution in intelligence. This first one triggers the change from ape to man. The second monolith on the moon triggers a leap from computers to artificial intelligence. And the final one triggers a change from intelligence to a form of transcendental awareness of space-time. This is the objective of 2001: A Space Odyssey, to help us subconsciously understand the magnitude of this transcendence. In other words, pure cinema is film art at its purest. The question I wanted to answer with this video essay is, why do we understand everything in this sequence? How can we sit through an array of images without feeling bored? The answer is, if the sequence of images tells a clear story, then that's a great start. The second important thing is, every frame should tell us something new. It should give us new information or advance the story. Let's see how Stanley Kubrick achieves this spectacularly in 2001: A Space Odyssey. The very first shot tells us what the sequence is about. We see a landscape, it's sunrise or sunset, maybe twilight, but the details aren't very clear. In the next shot, we get closer. There's a mountain. Next shot, same mountain, but now it's sunset, though I believe the effect could be also sunrise. Even though the shots look similar, there's actually new information in each shot. In the next shot, we get closer to the mountain and the sun. Then the sun goes away. It's later in the day. Now the sun is higher up. We see the mountain. Then we're under the mountain and finally see the landscape clearly. It needs to be pointed out that these frames were composed for the large cinema screen, not mobile phones. So by now, the audience is already aware of the nature of the landscape to a certain extent. It's the details that matter now. In the next shot, we see the landscape is sparsely populated with shrubs as far as the eye can see, so it's certainly no forest. This next shot is a famous photography monument nowadays, but it gives us a point of view of the mountain. Then we look down and the camera tilts forward as we take in another aspect of the landscape, almost desert-like. This is a tough environment. By now, Kubrick knows we've seen enough. We get the idea. Seeing it on a large screen makes a difference. Listening to me, you might think you get it, but the idea is to experience it. We cut to bones, a new object in a familiar landscape. Animal bones. Now in the very next shot, we see human bones. Or is it? The next shot answers this question as we see apes. We see apes in silhouette. This is a genius of Kubrick. He gives us new information. We can see there are two apes, but we don't see their features yet. Then we cut to the prime animal of this region. It's a strange animal. By the way, it's a tapir. In shot 1, we see apes. In shot 2, we see tapirs. In shot 3, we see them both. Students of Eisenstein might start to get that tingling feeling. In the next shot, we see the introduction of the shrubs. The tapirs are eating. Then we see the apes eating the shrubs. Oh, so we know what that means. It is interesting to note the next shot is shot on a longer lens with the animals and apes closer together, compressed for space. Also, notice a new element, skeletal remains. That's the answer. It's life or death here. You eat, you survive. Now all this must come to its logical conclusion. They go after the same shrub. Who wins? The ape. Then another angle to reinforce that it was not a fluke. In the next shot, they are peacefully coexisting again. Both species understand the natural order of things. So the new question is man on top of the food chain? This next shot answers the question. It seems like a repeat, but then, suddenly, just as it would in real life, tragedy strikes. Pay particular attention to the others. They don't interfere. What does it tell us about them? But this is a subconscious thing. As an audience watching for the first time, our primary attention is on the leopard. Then we fade out as if to say, okay, that's one thing. Then comes water. Apes around a pond. We cut to a mid-shot and close-ups of the individual apes. These apes are hero apes. and they have a role to play soon, which is why Kubrick gives them importance. In the next cut, another group ambushes this group. No words have to be spoken. We can follow along. The first group is alerted and they shout in anger. We cut to an over-the-shoulder type of long shot, where the group takes on a confrontational formation. But then the second group shows their numbers. We cut to the leader of the second group, who is the villain of this piece. The third shot shows them shouting at each other and posturing. The fourth and fifth shots are of the main characters. They've inched closer to the water. Kubrick maintains the 180-degree rule here, so we're not confused which group is which. Finally, the villain ape stomps over the pond. The villain group wins. We cut to a reverse of the hero ape. This is bullshit, he says, but backs out. We cut to a new group around the pond. Villain has a thing to say, and even without saying it, we have a pretty good idea what's been said. Another dissolve. Now that's another thing. Then we start again with a wide shot. We cut quickly to a close-up. Sound plays an important role here, and I'll address that later. But the crickets tell us it's evening. We cut to the leopard and its prey. The thing about cats is they hunt at night. The eyes sparkle. So maybe the hunt isn't over yet. Maybe man has to be concerned. We cut to the familiar landscape at night. Closer, we see the group of apes under the rock. Then we cut closer and they are awake. An ape is perched on top on watch duty. The others are waiting for his cue. They are irritated and tired, but not everyone shows it. A family waits patiently. Daddy ape is watchful. We fade out. This is their home. This is their life. Now we fade in again and they are sleeping. So things went well last night. The hero wakes up and sees something. It agitates him. It's a monolith. It doesn't take much intelligence to figure out that thing isn't natural. And it's not man-made because man hasn't been made yet. We cut closer to the object as the apes show their agitation, and then slowly calm down. A few of them venture close and dare to touch it. Soon everyone joins in. What's going to happen? The clue is in the cut. The alignment of the monolith, sun, and moon. Then there's a cut to another day. Notice no more fade out. There's urgency now. We see landscape and cut to close-up. Then another long shot. We cut to the group near bones. It's a familiar location. We cut to the hero near a pile of bones. There's a flash cut to the alignment, and this signals the point of his evolution. He has an idea. The music plays a huge part in this bit. We see a close-up of his hand, full of intent, then a wide shot of him bashing the bones, and it flies violently towards camera. It's a moment. We cut to a quick shot of the tapir falling, then the skull, and then many shots of skull breaking and one more of the tapir falling. Man has learned to kill. We cut to the landscape, but this time the ape enters left. He's eating meat. They are veggies till now. Then we cut to a larger group, then even larger, and finally our entire hero group. The tapirs still coexist amongst humans. They haven't caught on yet. We cut to a quick close-up. They're not eating it out of desperation, but by design. They are relishing it. Even the little one is licking a bone. Its finger licking good. New information every shot. Long shot again, dusk. Day ends. Then a jump cut to near the pond again. We all know what's going to happen here. See how the tables are turned? Now we're watching the hero group with weapons in their hands. They have ambushed the villain group. The villain group is not backing down. They know they are superior. The hero dares to step into the pond. The villain is pissed. You didn't just do that. Go back, he yells. The villain attacks and he is dead. Kubrick makes it a point to show us the apes don't know when he's dead, but it fills the rest of the group and us with dread. This is our true nature, isn't it? Now the hero has a thing to say and we know exactly what he's saying. The Dawn of Man sequence has about 105 shots at an average shot length of 8.5 seconds. That's slow compared to today's edits, but it won't feel slow because it never bores you, assuming you're watching it on a large screen to actually see all the things going on. Every shot tells its story, and the cut comes at just the right time. That's the secret. No extra frames or redundant shots, no multiple angles that all show the same thing for no reason. And at the end, we learn about ourselves. And here we thought we were watching a bunch of apes. Of course, we haven't covered audio. I'm publishing a special video on the audio and music of this sequence, and it is only available to members. To become a member, you can either click the join link below, or you can also get 25% off with an annual subscription if you become a member directly on Wolfcrow. I'll put up both links in the description, so check it out. Coming back to the sequence, the best part about it is the last cut. The sequence ends with the greatest cut in the history of cinema. Yeah, right, it's the 50th anniversary of 2001: A Space Odyssey, so if you want to see the greatest cut in the history of cinema, go watch the movie.